classy Ritz-Carlton here at Tyson's Corner. For those of you that are newbies to these events, my name is Ramon Marquin, and I chair the program for the Knowledge Management Conferences. To kick off this conference and to introduce our keynote speaker, I am going to have the privilege of introducing a longtime colleague and advisor on this program, and that's Susan Camarena, but I'm going to do it using some of the newer technologies rather than read from a resume. And this is Susan's resume in a word cloud. So what things really pop out at you? How about knowledge, management, development, because she is now the Chief Knowledge Officer of the Federal Transit Administration, but before that, she basically built the knowledge management program at USAID, so she's into development. And she's got a doctorate from UNUC in management, even though she's a psychologist, and all these things pop up in there. And by the way, for those of you that want to ask about the Army there in the left-hand upper corner, is because she is a retired Army officer, having served 20-some years with the Army and retired with the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. And enough of that, the word clock says it all. Susan.
Well, that's very awesome, and I do want to say thank you very much. I don't know if you remember last year, I was introduced at one of these sessions. It said Susan has a degree in psychology, and I said, well, who doesn't? So there we are again, who doesn't? But good afternoon, everyone, and I do want to say one thing before I do introduce the director. This is always exciting because this conference, where, as Tara from the Department of State said, you see people once a year, but it's always exciting because there's a lot of energy that flows for knowledge management practitioners because we really want to make a positive difference in our organizations. So I like coming here and getting infused with that energy. And now it's really my pleasure to introduce today's keynote speaker, Director John Berry of the Office of Personnel Management. Director Berry's public service spans over 2 decades, including serving in the Department of the Treasury, National Fish and Wildlife Foundation, and as the director of the National Zoo, where I understand there is a lion named after you. Today, his position at OPM is referred to as the federal government's chief people person, where he is reinvigorating the federal workforce with his stated goal to build a workforce of dynamic innovators who put serving the American people at the heart of everything they do. In that vein, Director Berry is embracing the OPM leadership role in the area of knowledge management, which is a practice that seeks to innovate and energize what we do and how we do it. This role, as indicated in the Chief Human Capital Officers Act of 2002, is to develop standards to determine each agency's success in developing and implementing a knowledge management strategy supported by appropriate investment in training and technology. In support of this effort, OPM, under the leadership of Director Berry, has undertaken a knowledge management effort in its Open Government Flagship Initiative. And OPM is walking the KM walk with its collaboration and interaction within its agency and across a variety of organizations in an effort to ensure that OPM benefits from the knowledge and experience of these organizations as it moves its knowledge management flagship initiative forward. Director Berry, thank you so much for agreeing to speak to the KM community, and we look forward to hearing you share your perspectives regarding OPM's efforts in this very important initiative. Please join me in welcoming Director John Berry.
Susan, that's incredible. I love the cloud idea you had, and you know when you see that much up there, one thing really jumps out at you as Susan, and that is smart. So I really appreciate your kind introduction, and it's a real delight to be here with all of you. I hope the conference has been going well. These are pretty nice digs you're at here. This is knowledge management, really the top quality, so it's really great. And I'm especially pleased to be here to just share a few things about what's underway as we work alongside with you in this important area. We've learned a lot over the past 2 years, and we're hoping that some of what we learned can be a model for others so that people don't have to repeat our mistakes. But before I tell you what we're doing, I want to tell you about the people who are doing it, especially since this is the beginning of Public Service Recognition Week. For each of you, first, let me begin by saying thank you for your service to your nation. Thank you for your oath to our Constitution. And thank you for what you're doing to every day bring better service to the taxpayers. But I'm also very pleased to recognize some of the folks at OPM who, without their leadership in this, our initiative would never have come forward. I turned to my CIO, Matt Perry, and I said, okay, well, who are we assigning to this? And our threesome right here, which is led up by Mary Boltz-Peacock and Corky Conyers, and in partnership with Marilyn Wiley, with our union council as well, they broke down all of our silos at OPM. And instead of just bringing people from traditional areas, they brought in 50 folks, not only from across the agency, but they also reached outside to bring in different perspectives. We brought in the Partnership for Public Service. We brought in other unions. And we also brought in other nonprofits. And they helped to give us just a better perspective, a broader and fresher perspective on these issues. And it has really helped. They wanted to collaborate and innovate with all of the offices inside OPM, as well as our customers and the general public, which I know you all are wrestling with how we can do that better. These are all our frontline employees. They know the challenges, and they want to work together to make things work better, to provide the American people with better service at lower cost. They just needed to be unleashed. And their work is bringing us closer to realizing our 30,000-foot vision, which is to make OPM the model employer for the 21st century, the federal government to be the model employer for the 21st century. Employee morale, job satisfaction, and ultimately organizational success depend on engaging your people so they understand that they're making an important contribution to a worthwhile cause. Our work in the federal government, no matter where you are, has always been important. People and business units have been working and operating in silos, and creative problem solving has suffered over the years. Initiatives like the one you're wrestling with today are helping to turn this around. If we zoom in to around 10,000 feet, what does the model employer look like? Well, we have developed sort of 4 goals for our agency. Pretty simple, that would help us to realize our vision. Hire the best, respect the workforce, expect the best of the workforce, and then honor their service. Everything we do folds into those 4 goals. Our Open Government Knowledge Management Initiative touches all 4 of those, but I'm going to look at specifically 2 and 3 today. Respecting our workers means giving them the freedom and the space to collaborate. Even the freedom to occasionally make mistakes, as long as we learn from them. Respect is also providing flexibility to do their work where and when they want, so that they can maximize their own productivity. And in return for that respect, we expect the best from our employees. That means setting very high standards and then holding our employees accountable. Collaboration can be difficult in large organizations, both inside and outside of government. It's tough to foster collaboration across business units and with customers and with the public. People strive for how to do this better every day. And as more experienced workers leave, we too often lose vital knowledge and skills with their departure. Our Knowledge Management Initiative tries to address these challenges. Knowledge management is a broad term, and it means different things to different people. Chief Information Officers tend to see knowledge management through the IT perspective. Chief Learning Officers tend to see it through the prism of training. As the people person of the government, I tend to see it through our workers and organizational culture. For me, knowledge management is all about creating an innovative, collaborative culture where every employee and every team is not just allowed, but expected and encouraged to collaborate and innovate. OPM's Open Government Knowledge Management Project is about two things: creating the liquid networks that result in information getting to those who need it as directly and as quickly as possible, and capturing that information as usable knowledge for future employees and stakeholders. Again, so we don't have to keep repeating the same mistakes. We do this through collaboration and innovation. Collaboration is getting the people with the right skills on each project, wherever they happen to be in the agency, and whatever their job title might be in the agency. It's pulling them into the team that needs to get the job done. It's sharing knowledge and jointly developing and refining those ideas until we have a good one. Innovation is successfully implementing those ideas to provide the American people with better service at lower costs. Creating an open culture is the most important driver of innovation, but software tools and training for workers and managers can help. I've looked at your conference notes and you're going into a lot of those discussions and issues. And so our Open Government Initiative formed action learning teams with people across stakeholders and across agencies, and looking at how the problems could be approached to generate new solutions. And so that's where they came up with a great one, which I really enjoyed. We actually stole this from the Department of Homeland Security. So if DHS is here, my hat is off to you. You put this together, and then they transferred the software to us, and that is Idea Factory. It's really been, it's essentially a crowdsourcing tool that any employee can go on to. You can post your idea, and then any other employee can rate it. They can like or dislike. They can discuss it. There's a blog site to discuss, or they can pose their variation on the original idea. And it's been amazing. We've only had it up for about 6 weeks now, but we've had hundreds of suggestions. And what we do is we use our Labor Management Partnership Council to evaluate each of the ideas and help us to decide how we can most quickly implement it. And because all of our management groups are represented on the Partnership Council and our unions are both represented on the Partnership Council, it's a quick way to make decisions and get them implemented right away. And so we'll be talking more about this Idea Factory thing, but it has worked well at DHS, and we are finding we're very excited with just 6 weeks experience with our team's incredible efforts on this. We also launched the Learning Connection, which is a comprehensive online internal training initiative for our OPM staff. We launched a searchable FAQ, frequently asked questions tool, that we continuously update, thinking of it as an ask.com, if you will, for OPM. It enables our stakeholders, both inside and outside of OPM, to find information themselves and then to contact us easily if they don't find it there.